So when will the Fife property market open again? Well, in this vlog I'll discuss various scenarios as to what could happen to the Fife property market and how to avoid making the wrong decisions at a time where it's crucial to get it right. With the next review of lockdown in Scotland due on the 18th of June this Thursday, and the First Minister is due to speak around moving to phase 2 and lifting restrictions, it's very tempting to make predictions about the future. Forecasting is a notoriously difficult task. You might even say it's a fool's errand, but humans like us are hardwired to think about what's around the corner and how can we plan for it. The expectation is that lockdown restrictions are going to be eased, and it's comforting that estate agents have been earmarked in recommendations for which businesses should be allowed to reopen first. A welcomed acknowledgement that moving home is an important part of life in Fife and Scotland itself. So inquiries from buyers are also on the rise as well, as estate agents up and down the country say so, while the property portals are also reporting an increased number of visitors. This means that sentiment and appetite to the property market's key drivers are firmly in place. As an estate agent, we're naturally optimistic, and currently willingness of lenders to lend and buyers to buy suggest there is much to be positive about. But with a crystal ball firmly in hand and a finger in the wind, let's explore some of the possible outcomes of how they might affect your plans to sell your home. So the first scenario is lockdown is actually extended. Well, it looks fairly unlikely that full lockdown will continue. But for the sake of argument, here's what you can do if it does, or if any restrictions that remain in place prevent from an immediate return to business as usual. If you don't have a home report, or unless your home report is exempt, that's new build properties, you will need to wait until inspections are allowed again before you can put your house back on the market. Although we have been actually advised by the Scottish Government that in exceptional circumstances we can put a property on the market. We still need to be at a social distance if you need to arrange a virtual valuation though. This is where you take us on a video tour of your home via your smartphone. We can then advise on price and give suggestions on presentation. Marketing your property in this way is not ideal because the sale will be based on neither a estate agent nor the buyer actually visiting, which could leave a number of questions around room measurements, descriptions, light levels, and even maintenance issues. Although it's not an impossible situation, we have sold properties this way already. One buyer in particular actually saw a virtual viewing online, went around to the property, looked in the window and made an offer. Sold, just like that. The seller was delighted. So if any restrictions remain around photographers visiting homes, you'll need to take photographs of your property yourself. While buyers will make some allowances for non-professional photography, the pictures do nonetheless need to be good enough to attract inquiries. You can find lots of information about staging advice and other articles on our blog. But essentially rooms need to be tidy, the camera needs to be horizontal, and the interior lights should be turned on. We can give you further guidance if you wish. We can also arrange virtual viewings by group calls using various apps like WhatsApp, Zoom, Skype, or even do live broadcasts to all our social media channels. Again, some of our sales have been agreed through virtual viewings, although generally subject to physical viewings taking place before exchange of contracts. That does introduce an unusual variable, but some buyers are already familiar with the location of your property and are quite happy to commit. Solicitors are also working during lockdown in the background, and some lenders are willing to issue mortgage offers on some types of properties without actually a visit from a valuer. That means your sale could advance quite significantly through an extended period of lockdown. So scenario number 2, a bounce back. Very simply, with activity levels returning to somewhere near before lockdown, which they seem to be according to Zoopla in our website analytics, the market is showing very good signs of recovery from the uncertainties over Brexit and also a previous general election. Sentiment is excellent among buyers and property values are beginning to lift. There is a remarkable sense of get up and go from every quarter that was cut suddenly short before, but those spirits weren't quelled. If we're experiencing an instant bounce, we'd suggest acting immediately to get your property on the market many people want to get back on track with their lives and plans, which could well result in photographers, surveyors, estate agents being overwhelmed with requests to get properties on the market. So if we are to open back up on the 18th of June, get those appointments booked in as soon as you can. That possibly also makes now the time to deal with any outstanding issues that might detract from your home's saleability. The decor, the clutter, the curb appeal, the cleaning. You can find other articles on our blog to help you prepare your property for sale, or you can arrange a virtual tour with us now so we can advise you on how to be ready when that moment comes. Discussions between the Housing Minister and a estate agency representative have focused on how to allow viewings while social distancing and other safety measures in place. If you're at home at the time of the viewing, you could be required to wait outside, while potential buyers could also be asked to avoid touching surfaces and to attend alone as a couple, and any children be left at home. Agents are likely to be instructed to carry wipes and disinfectant, while everybody attending will probably have to wear masks and gloves. This is what we are preparing for. Safety is key for us. So scenario number 3, a short-term uncertainty. As yet, we simply don't know the full effect of lockdown on the UK economy and how that will translate to employment figures, buyer sentiment, or whether lenders will tighten their criteria to protect themselves. It's eminently possible that we may be even in for a short pause. A few modelling exercises have also predicted a sharp shock to the economy for a few months after lockdown, with a recovery in the final quarter of 2020. Much is made of negative press commentary, and while gloomy headlines can affect the market, sentiment among buyers is also driven by the behaviour of lenders. If mortgages are readily available and not overly restrictive around deposits or securities, that may be enough to sustain the sufficient level of enthusiasm among buyers. It's in the DNA of Britons to own their own home. However, uncertainty could see a slight dip in prices. We aren't experiencing that yet, and if anything, it still offers over the home report value that we're getting. As property owners can take advantage of the seller's market, buyers understandably look to do the same when conditions are different. That's why there's a real need to get a great negotiator to represent you. The prospect of short-term dip could also be seen as an opportunity among first-time buyers to get on the property ladder, and with the Scottish Government's First Home Fund, with every first-time buyer getting up to £25,000 towards buying their first home, this will certainly help. A few months ago isn't enough for a large drop, and you may find a slight single-digit dip can be absorbed, but the equity in your existing property or recouped on your purchase. But if you're buying a property that is more expensive than your current home, a short-term dip could work in your favour, as the gap decreases between your selling price and your buying price. So scenario number 4 is a more long-term economic downturn, the dreaded R word. We're now into full-on long-term speculation that requires a look beyond an unconfirmed period of short-term uncertainty. Given that we won't even know the effects of what has happened until autumn, it is unwise to dwell too long on something that may very well not happen. So we'll just take a very short look at this. Generally, the immediate effect of a recession on the property market is that lenders and first-time buyers press the pause button, which starts this ripple effect. The beginning is usually the worst, as everyone takes a deep breath and embraces themselves. But people's lives do have a habit of moving forward regardless of economic conditions. It is far from impossible to sell your property in a recession, but it calls for determination and realism. Most moves are people trading up, which makes a larger fall in house prices very profitable, as long as you can see beyond the sale of your own existing home. That can be a challenge, but if the overall numbers work, you may well be able to make a move that was otherwise impossible and more than worth your while. So let's leave that discussion there for now and see what this week's announcement brings. In a week or two, we'll all know the next chapter of COVID-19 and how our daily lives will allow to progress. Whatever that brings for the property market, we're here to give you straightforward advice and support in helping you make the right decisions about your move. Remember, don't panic. I realise this is an unprecedented situation, but we've never had this level of economic support from the government, and I suspect we're going to land a lot softer than the doom and gloom mongers that are predicting. They're only doing this because it sells newspapers. The key is to get the best advice based on facts, and that's what we're here for. You're welcome to contact us at any time. Until next time, I'm Jim Parker for Fife Properties TV.